going?
Good.
Yeah. Anybody dive in?
Okay.
You have inhabited this role for several seasons now, and we absolutely love you. You know, you're massive fans that are with you on every emotional journey. What I want to know is, what would you say is one of the most important lessons that you learned during the filming of This Is Us through any of the seasons?
Thanks, Dana. That's very, very kind. The lessons, man, lessons to be learned. I think one that we can all understand is connection, understanding our impact on people that we love, people that are complete strangers that we run across in the streets. I was raised by two wonderful parents and have great older sisters that made sure I felt love and was able to give love. So I think what I try to do, which was very reaffirmed by playing Jack and by being a part of This Is Us, is have a commitment to sharing love and also to be very conscious of my impact on people and how I can impact someone positively, or even if I was having a bad day, really pushing that down and making sure that anyone that I meet on the streets or my friends or any of that, making sure I'm presenting my best self to them. So I think commitment and love, those have really been the things that have reaffirmed with me and have been my takeaways, I know, from filming and being a part of This Is Us.
So of course everyone has their favorite, if it's Jack and Rebecca, Miguel and Rebecca, but what's coming up for Jack and Miguel's friendship? Because I'm also really enjoying that in the flashbacks.
Oh yeah. Jack and Miguel, it's been talked about for 5 years that they're best friends, and I feel like we don't get enough of them as best friends. I think it's time I asked Fogelman to send Jack and Miguel on like a guys' weekend or something where I don't know what they're doing, but they're just spending time together. I know my close friends, my best friends, I talk to a lot, and I think that's a dynamic we kind of need to see a little bit more. We've seen Jack the father, the husband, the alcoholic, the soldier, guy trying to get love. I feel like we haven't explored enough Jack the friend. So just yesterday I was on set with John Huertas, and we had a really beautiful scene, which I was just about to say, but I won't, which you guys will see next week. But it's fun. I know for me personally, I really am inspired by my close friends, my best friends, and I try to do my best to inspire and support them. So I think that's an important dynamic to explore, and I don't know. I'm excited for everybody to see the episode coming with Jack and Miguel.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So as you kind of just touched on, Jack, like all of the show's characters, is very layered. He's got so many depths, and we're continuing every season to pull back these layers. You talked a little bit about the Miguel story, and what else can you tease as we look ahead to these upcoming episodes? What can we expect for Jack?
Wow, having been through a lot of Jack, I always ask him, like, well, what else is there of him? What more can we do? But I'm constantly blown away by the way the writers are pulling Jack into everyone else's story and sphere and universe. I think that's been one thing that's been pretty nice about the show. Jack, the knowledge of Jack not being around in the present day has been since episode, was it 2? I can't even remember, but it was since the beginning of season 1 when the series actually started. So knowing that Jack still touches everyone's lives, and whether it's a scene or two, or maybe it's a larger storyline, and knowing that Jack is a part of these characters. It's not really answering your question about teasers or looking ahead. other than, we see Jack with his 5-year-olds. We're going to see Jack and Rebecca young in love. We're going to see Jack and Miguel younger, kind of exploring Jack falling in love with Rebecca. There's still a lot of ground to cover, I think, even though we've crossed the country a couple times with them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Dive in, Ari.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you talk about, this has got to be one of the weirdest seasons to film, especially during COVID. Can you just talk about how you guys did it and the mental and physical toll it took on the cast and crew, and you guys just really just banged through and did an amazing job that we've seen so far?
I think, first of all, we had a lot of support, which was great. We get tested several times through the week, which I know is not an easy financial burden. So knowing that we had measures to keep us safe, it felt like going to work was one of the safest places you can be. So there was that. Second, we had a crew that was wanting to be there. So we all knew that we had to look out for one another and make sure that our lives outside of work reflected our wanting to be at work. So, we've got the masks, we got the face shields, we've got the distance. It is hard. It's tough. I know I see on the crew having to experience the show that way. But I know when I show up, when I'm on set, I try and make sure that everybody's seen and everybody remembers why we're there, and the experience of filming the show is ours, and the product of what we film is for the audience. So, I'm always doing my best to do what I can for the crew, whether that's bringing in some food and food trucks and things like that, which also helps smaller businesses, or if it's just standing nearby but at a distance to share a conversation. So it's a tough season. I think everybody's looking forward to the country being in a better place, more vaccines to hit more arms, and we can get back to maybe hugging people when you walk in, or that kind of like closer conversation. I know it's tough for me because I very much am built up in my work by the people that I'm lucky enough to be around. So, it's tough. It's tough, but we're making our way through it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
So we're seeing Nicky really get to be part of the Pearson family in the present day. So how proud would Jack be of his brother?
I think Jack would be incredibly proud, but I would hope that, Jack would take the judgment off of his brother and understand. I mean, listen, that whole experience of war and war in general is a pretty horrific thing. Even friends that I have that have been through war and seeing how it's impacted and affected them, and you always kind of wonder, what are we doing this for? I think the circumstances that Nicky was under while he was there, even though he and Jack came from the same home, they're two different people. Jack was equipped to handle it. Nicky wasn't, and Nicky became dependent on drugs and just to numb himself from that horrible experience of war. So, I think Jack has to lighten up a little bit. That's probably the one of the two moments in playing Jack that I've really disagreed with how he handled something, was with his brother, trying to understand that addiction, and not find some way to come together. So it's a terrible thing, drug addiction, and even worse thing, war. I'm sure Jack would ultimately be proud of Nicky having come out the other end and kind of rejoined the Pearsons and gotten to know his nephew and his grand nieces and nephews and stuff like that.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I think you guys will be moved on to your next room. Just give it a sec.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you for your time.